Hello, Dan here. I'm going to walk you through a quick demo of my Spotify project. And so the purpose of this project was to take an existing web application, in my team's case, Spotify, the music player, and clone a version and put our own little spin on it. And so in our case, we worked on a team of 4 developers, and we approached this project from a microservices or a service-oriented architecture standpoint. And so each of the 4 team members, we were responsible for unique parts of the site, and we built our pieces in isolation, and we built them with their own database, their own server, their own front end, and then we brought them all together at the end via Amazon Web Services to give you the final product. And so I'll just walk you through the application. And so it starts with a few static pieces, as a Spotify artist page normally will. And so we have the top image at the top. We have DJ Vonderbent as our artist, and for our song titles, album names, artist lists, really everything in our database is through random word generators. And so DJ Vonderbent was a name that we quite liked, so we chose to use that one. And so this is the top piece of the Spotify artist page. On the left, we have the sidebar, and really this is just simply navigation through the Spotify application. At the bottom, our last little static piece is the audio player, which does have a dynamic aspect that I'll get into in one second. And then as we get into really the content of the site, we have our popular, or really the top tracks listing. And so this list queries the database, and it sends back the 5 songs that have the highest listen counts for this artist. And so DJ Vonderbent's top song is Frost Demons Burnt. And say we wanted to play this song, we just simply double click on it. The audio player goes to a playing state, even though it's not actually playing music, it's not a real song, but we're kind of in a playing state. And you can see the song over here, the image, the song length, and the CSS, the design, really the look and feel is all very much Spotify. We have context menus that are almost identical, or rather probably are identical. We have an ellipsis over here that shows on hover, again, another context menu there. And the animations are just as Spotify does. And so I worked on the popular tracks in the audio player. So these were my microservices that are now deployed to AWS. And the other dynamic piece from a group member was the albums piece. And so similar idea, the albums are pulled from the database and displayed. Albums, singles, and EPs appears on. And so that's at a high level the Spotify, which is our name for this, the Spotify application, a clone of the Spotify artist page. And just a quick note on deployment, because this is deployed to AWS. And so currently on this page, we have 4 different AWS links that are operating on the internet. You might notice that we're running this through localhost 3000. But if we were to actually look at our proxy server, you would see that 4 different Amazon Web Services links feed into the proxy server, and then just a small bit of CSS gets it all to line up. And so these modules, especially mine, the popular and the audio player, are live on the internet right now. And we're just serving them at localhost 3000 to put all of the pieces together. And so that is a quick note on the Spotify application. Oh, and just one last piece. In addition to using Amazon Web Services, we Dockerized. We use Docker for each different service. And so I have a Docker image that contains the popular tracks. It contains the audio player. It also contains the seeded database. And those Docker images were pushed up to Amazon's Elastic Container Registry, which was then spun into a container, which was then served via a cluster. And so it's living in the cloud. It exists through navigation on the internet. And thank you very much. That's the project.